All right. Hello. Happy Friday, everyone. I am Dr. Amanda with Adkins Enlightenment Lifestyle Medicine. I'm so excited to be with you on today. It is Friday, and I get this question a lot. I eat out a lot, so can I stay healthy? Right? And you would be surprised to know that nearly 40% of all our meals are eaten outside of the home. And this is in the US. And that's according to the USDA. Okay. That means almost half of what the average adult eats each week comes from restaurants, our fast casual spots or takeout, or any number of those things that are rising. And unfortunately, I see this in my household because my daughter every day wants to ask her dad, um, what can you bring me to eat out? And it's always some different restaurant, right? So, what can we do to stay healthy despite eating a lot of our meals outside of the home? And especially during this time of year where we may be at parties and different things of that nature, like we can still stay healthy. And eating out does not have to derail your health goals. It does not have to decrease your energy. It doesn't have to affect your blood pressure or your blood sugars. With the right approach, you can enjoy your good foods, good company, and still honor the body that God has entrusted in you. Okay. So no worries here. We are going to get this going. So as we continue on, if you have questions, because we're live here, put them in the chat. If you're watching the replay, put in hashtag replay and actually put in the questions that you have, and I'll be more than happy. Me and my team would come back and answer those for you. All right. So we want you to be healthy, but we know that eating at home 100% of the time is unrealistic for most Americans. Okay. So that's why we're doing this topic today. So don't forget to put your comments in. And so I can see, if I'm looking down, that means I'm looking to see if there's any questions that I can answer along the way. Okay. So now we're going to walk through practical steps that let you enjoy your restaurants and stay aligned with those lifestyle goals that supports longevity, clarity, energy, confidence, and joy. Because getting together, usually that means we're getting together with people and we want to be, enjoying our company. Okay. So let's start out with why this trips people up. Eating out, it can seem so hard, right? But what eating out is designed to make us do is to lose track of our portions. If you look at the plates and the portion sizes, they're usually oversized plates. The sauces are hidden, the calories are layered with oils, creams, and toppings. And many menus highlight that they taste great, but they don't align with your health goals. Okay. So here's the truth: you don't have to have a perfect restaurant to actually keep your health and wellness goals. You just need a plan. Okay. And when you know what to look for, the anxiety melts away. You stop feeling guilty and you stop feeling confused. And you start feeling in control and empowered, even when you're dining out several times a week. Okay. So you do not have to worry. Like if you're eating out, you just want to have a plan. And that's what, mostly everything. And there's this saying that if you plan to fail, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Okay. So it just takes one little extra step to plan ahead of time when you're going out. So for myself, most of the time with my family or going out somewhere, I always ask, where are we going to eat? Okay, so I can plan ahead. So with most restaurants, you can look at the menu online, and just a few seconds, 30 seconds or so, reviewing the menu can save you of making a rush decision when you're hungry at the restaurant. Okay, because sometimes we get there, it can be, especially during this time of year, like I said, it can be overcrowded. You've already waited an hour and you're there and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to eat? Okay. So you want to look for vegetable forward entrees. So anything that adds lots and lots of veggies to put in without the extra sauce. Excuse me. And also try to pick a plant predominant bowls, like stir fry options. And you may, tell them to be light on the oils, but excuse me, let me take a sip of water. Sorry, guys. So for vegetable forward entrees and plant predominant bowls. So if you're at some of the restaurants, they actually tell you, what's inspired, what's low calorie. And so you can look at those. You also want to pick from lean proteins. So I do not eat any meats at all, but I have a client that really loves seafood. So I tell them to look for seafood that is not fried and not breaded. So you other options would be, like beans and lentils and tofu. And again, you want to try to get where the tofu is not breaded either, because that adds in unnecessary calories for you. It can be baked, it can be pan fried without oil. Some restaurants know how to do that, some do not. Just the heat of the pan can actually cook the food without adding in extra oil. When you can, try to pick whole grain options. So I know that there's places that serve breads or pastas, and you can always pick out a whole grain option if it's available, because that's healthier than say the ones that are more like the white sides of things, like the white rices and the white pastas. If you can pick like brown rice, those things will actually help when you actually go out to eat, and you can still feel satisfied and enjoy your meal. Okay, so those would be some things you want to look at ahead of time in the menu. And always point this out, like I didn't even think about this until my husband was like, just because it's not on the menu doesn't mean you can't ask for it. I always thought that. I was like, that is like genius. So you can look at what they have and then ask the server if the kitchen can prepare the meal like you want it. And you would be surprised that most people, if they have actual kitchen, a full kitchen, can adjust your meal how you want it. So you don't want oil, you don't want butter. Um, on your meals, you can actually adjust that, or you can say, okay, I see that they have tofu in this bowl, but they don't have it in this bowl, so I want to swap these things out and make my own creation. You may inspire the chef to actually put that on the menu. You never know. Okay, so once you're actually in the restaurant and you actually know what you want, you feel back in control. Okay, so you don't feel rushed, you don't feel guilty, like is this going to derail me? And it's especially powerful for people that have like high blood pressure, diabetes, pre-diabetes, are those that are trying to lose weight in a healthy way. Okay, so when you decide ahead of time, your lifestyle aligns with your values instead of the moment controlling you. Because most of the time, when we feel out of control, we feel like we don't know what's going on. That's when we make hasty decisions and not so healthy decisions. So we don't want to do that. So we want to actually try to look at the menu ahead of time, and then see what we can pull together and see, make sure we have the plan and actually remember what our health and wellness goals are. Okay, because then we can actually make informed decisions on what we're going to do next. Okay, so that's the plan ahead of time. Make that. So the next point would be you want to have a strategy for portion awareness. Okay, because restaurants, they want people to feel satisfied and feel like they're getting their biggest bang for their buck, because sometimes they're competing with others. Some of the restaurants, though, you're like, this is all I get. But most of the time, we're giving 2 to 3 times what our body actually needs. And when the plate is in front of you, it's easy to get past the fullness of the plate, and you're just like, oh, this is so good, I'm just going to eat it all. Okay, so what can you do? Again, having a plan ahead of time, knowing that certain restaurants have 2 to 3 times the serving size. You can plan to split the meal with someone. Okay, so ahead of time, you're like, okay, let's go half on this. I see you like this, you like that. It has to align. Like somebody has to like the food that you like, for that to work. Okay, or I've seen a lot of people do this also, is to ask for a to-go box before your meal arrives. And that way you can go ahead and put in half of your meal in the to-go box before you even take the first bite. Okay, so you like, okay, I see this. I'm going to go ahead and take half of that and put it aside, because when we don't see it, that actually decreases our needing to actually feel like we need to clean our plate. So you can still clean your plate, you just clean half of it because you moved it aside, right? And then you want to make sure that you are eating the meal slowly. So look at that portion. So sometimes when we are eating, we tend to overeat because we're eating so fast. Okay. So you're out at a restaurant, evidently because you want to enjoy the company. So don't forget to do that. Okay. So split your meal with someone, get a to-go box ahead of time, and then go ahead and put half of the meal in your to-go box. And like these are not new strategies, guys. To do this. But sometimes we just need a reminder because I remember wow, probably 20 years ago now. Dang, 20 years ago. I say that out loud, like, whoa, my goodness. But when I was back home, we would go out to eat after every single church service. And I remember people doing this ahead of time because they're like really trying to figure out how they're going to keep their health and wellness goals in front of them. And these were things that I would see them do. So it's not anything new, but something we need to be reminded of. Okay. Another thing to do to control your portion sizes is to choose the appetizer for your entree instead of doing the entree itself. Okay. And usually they offer a lot of plant forward, a lot of vegetables as the appetizers, and you can use that as your meal. It's also cheaper sometimes when you do it that way. Entrees are usually more expensive. You can use the appetizers as your main meal, which again we have done multiple times, especially if you're in a restaurant that doesn't have a whole lot of plant-based friendly options, which I sometimes incur. So I would choose an appetizer as my actual meal instead. Okay, so actually looking at your portion sizes, I do not want you to think restriction necessarily, because when we think restriction, usually we go into a mindset to where we're in lack. And we don't want that. We want to be about stewardship. Okay. We want to be about honoring our hunger cues and supporting our metabolic health. Okay. So we want to be mindful of our portions so we can help stabilize our blood sugars, reduce those cravings that may come after, and prevent that sluggish feeling, which I call the itis. And for those that know, you know what the itis is. And we should not have itis after eating meals. We should actually feel energized. We should not feel tired after eating. So that's usually why we tell people, again, not to eat too late at night, because food should give you energy. It should keep you up and moving around. Okay. So we don't want to do that. We want to actually eat enough to actually give us the energy that we need, give our body the nutrients that it needs, not just the calories that it needs, but the nutrients that it needs. Okay. So do not go into restriction mode to where you feel deprived, but to actually feel empowered. Okay. So that was your second strategy to control your portion size, or to be aware of your portion sizes. Okay. The next thing is the sneaky dressings and sauces that can be on things. Because you're like, oh, that shouldn't, be too many calories, but those sauces and toppings can sneak up on you. And I usually tease people when I was like, oh, so you had a little bit of greens with your dressing instead of the other way around. You should have a little bit of dressing if you need it with the greens with your salad. Okay. So you don't want to take it in like just pour all this stuff on there, because basically you're just wanting the fat taste, the sugary taste from the dressing, and not actually from the salad. So if you can actually put the dressing on the side would be number one, and like dip it if you need to, or try to get a salad that's rich in veggies and different types of veggies, different colors, some that have moisture to them, like the bell peppers, olives, things like that, a little bit of avocado. Those types of things can actually bring in some extra flavor to the salad without adding in a lot of extra calories. Okay. So the avocado would be high in calories, but if you just use a little bit of it, it goes a long way and then actually helps with the taste. I like to add hummus because usually that's like it's a bean dip, and so it's less calories. But then if you mix that in with the salad, it doesn't make it as dry, because some people, they don't like dry greens. But you just have to look at that because again, those sauces and toppings can sneak up on you. You also want to look at the pasta dishes that can double in calories because of the cream and the butter that's added. Okay, so that would be like the Alfredo sauces that are, extra has the cream in there. Okay, so again, easy fixes that you can do, like I already alluded to, were dressing on the side. Choose a lighter vinaigrette as possible. Try to avoid the cheese because cheese brings a lot of extra. Or if you like Dr. Amanda, salad's not a salad without cheese. I would beg to differ, but maybe you can go less or not add on cheese on top of the pasta because it already has a cheesy like sauce or a creamy like sauce. Request that the dishes are prepared with less oil. Again, that goes back to what I was saying before about just because it's not like that on the menu does not mean you cannot request that. I mean, all they can say is no, but then you can politely decline. But but most of the time they're like, okay, they try to accommodate you. And then swap the heavy creams for a tomato-based or broth-based option. That's usually less calories. And just by doing this, those add-on calories can actually turn a 1,200 calorie meal into like a 500 to 600 calorie meal. Cut it in half, and this will not lose the flavor because that's a lot of people are always concerned, which rightfully so. They're like, if the food doesn't taste good, what's the point of eating it, right? That's why God gave you taste buds so you can actually enjoy the food, right? But sometimes those taste buds can be deceiving to us because it tastes good on the taste buds, but the rest of our body does not like it. But we want it to taste good on our taste buds and actually give nutrients to our body. Okay. So that would be the thing there. So we want to be careful on those sneaky sauces, those sneaky extra calories that can occur in your meal. Okay. The next thing we want to look at, and I always tell people to focus on this because this is another way that you can get some sneaky calories in there, is that the beverage that you pick matters. Okay. And it can be sugary drinks that spike those blood sugars and increase your cravings, causes an increase in inflammation, and it works directly against your health and wellness goals. Okay. So you're like, why do I keep craving sugar? But you drink my favorite drink, Coca-Cola. Now, there's no way in this world that I know myself that I could have one Coke and then not have any more at all. Okay. So what I decided to do that I had to not drink Coke at all. Like I said, I've tried regular Coke. I did Coke C2 for those that back in the early 2000s knew about that. Coke Zero, Coke Zero Sugar, but it's still some type of artificial sweetener in there. But that just increased my cravings for sugar. And I just had to decide, like, for myself, I had to let it go. I was like, I can't do that. Even with juices, like 100% fruit juices, you had to be very careful with that because it's the pure sugar of the juice. What else would be the sweetened tea? I just came back from Tennessee, which is big there, and my dad was like, "Try this tea, try this tea, and see how sugary it is." And at first I was like, "Dad, this tastes watered down," because he has left it sitting there. He was like, "Stir it up," and it tastes like pure sugar. You didn't taste any tea in it at all. So that is something you have to be very careful with when you actually choose beverages. So I always say the drink of choice is always water, number one. So start with water. You can add a little kick to your water with adding in like lemon or fruit or orange berries, or get like a sparkling water. That's an acquired taste for me. Like sometimes I can drink that. I Some people like the flavored sparkling water. To me, it tastes like watered down juice, but that, hey, if that works for you because there's no extras in there, but you can usually make your own. So get a sparkling water that has nothing in there and then add in your own fruit. Not to blend it up, but just place it in there. Sometimes that helps a lot for people. And it gives you flavor because some people like water doesn't taste like anything, so they don't want to just drink water. But your body is made up of 80% of water, so it needs water. Not even like coffee and tea and things like that that's made up of water, but just water. But other option would be an unsweetened tea or an herbal tea. I definitely like my green teas. So those would be another option to drink besides a sugary beverages. Okay. So the water, the sparkling water with like lime or lemon or berries, unsweetened iced tea or an herbal tea. These things help you to stay hydrated, and it also helps your digestion to support your energy level. Because again, we eat and drink to help with energy and give us nutrients to get our body going. And you won't even notice that you've left out the sugary drink. It's okay. So most people won't notice. Initially, you won't notice. Or the places that if you like, I have to have, one Coke with my meal or something like that. Then don't get the refill. Tell them bring you water after that, or drink water, take your Coke, and then drink water again. Like sandwich it in with a healthier option. So don't just continuously get refills of the sugary beverage. That's also a strategy that you can use, right? Um, so yeah, so we want to do that. So watch your calories from the drinks that can sneak in. Because I want to say, I believe it's like over 200 calories just in a Coke, depending on the size. And usually, again, the portion size that they give you is not like a little cup; it's like a big cup. So that would be an extra 200 calories just from drinking, and your body doesn't even recognize it as nutrients, and so it just stores it as fat and spikes your blood sugar, causes more inflammation in the body. So it has no good intentions for us at all. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is to make smart swaps. Okay. So you don't have to do a full overhaul of your meal, like simply shifting one or two pieces can make a huge difference. So most of you know what I'm going to say. Instead of the French fries, swap out the side salad. Okay. Again, when we swap out the side salad, swipe out the French fries for the side salad, we don't want to then drench the side salad in dressing or fat. Okay. So that would kind of defeat the purpose. You might as well have stuck with the fries, but we can swap that out. We can choose steamed vegetables instead of like breaded vegetables or vegetables that come with a lots of sauces and cheeses. I already mentioned this, but you can like swap out the whole grains like the brown rice for the white rice. And then instead of fried, we want to try grilled, baked, steamed, or roasted. Steamed would be actually the best if you're doing like a protein, because it usually does add in more calories, and it's like filled with the water that comes there. So when you repeat these swaps consistently, so every time you go out to eat, you actually see changes in your weight. You'll see your blood pressure changes for the better, your digestion, your energy all improve. Not because you are perfect, because there's some things that's still in your meal that you're like, that probably wasn't the best option, but because you were consistently changing a healthier option for a not so healthy option. Okay. So all those things will work. So let's pull all those things together. So what do we talk about today to help you to eat out without derailing your health? So number one is plan ahead. So look at the menu ahead of time. Ask your friends and family, where are we going to eat? Let me know ahead of time so I can look at the menu. Okay. Manage those portion sizes will be number two. So whether we do use the appetizer as our entree, or we split the meal with someone, or we take the to-go box ahead of time and split the meal ahead of time, we can do that. So managing your portions, again, we do not want to go into restriction and deprivation mode, because that usually makes us overcompensate at another time. Then we want to control our sauces. So the creamy sauces, the dressings that we may be adding in, those sneaky calories that can come in from there, extra sometimes 500-600 calories just from the sauces. Okay. Then we want to choose our beverages wisely. So that is number four. So we don't want to add in the sugary beverage, or if we're like, Dr. Amanda, I only go out to eat once a month, I want to have a Coke. Okay. So remember, water, Coke, water. Don't want to refill the sugary beverage. Our water, sweet tea, water. And we want to drink all the water, not just have the water sitting there and then we just squeeze it in between. So, but again, you have to remember that those calories from those sweetened beverages can sneak in. And again, our body does not recognize those as actually healthy nutrients. So it just like, okay, to take it in, like, do I need this? Do I not need this? No, I don't need this now. I may need it later. So I'll store it, and it stores as fat. And unfortunately, when it stores as fat, it's usually fat, what we call visceral fat, which is fat around the organs, which is the most harmful fat that's there, because that causes more inflammation and then causes and leads to chronic diseases for us. Okay. And then we can make the small swaps. So the French fries for the salad, the grilled or the steamed veggies, all those things actually help us out. Okay. So suddenly eating out, it becomes something that you can do and enjoy without fear, right? So you're not like, okay, so I'm going out to eat, so I'm just gonna throw my diet away or throw my eating plan away, and I'm just gonna eat whatever. You don't have to do that. You can actually be in control of what you eat when you go out and still enjoy your meal and still enjoy the company that you have. So you will feel lighter, you'll feel clearer, you'll feel more confident and more aligned with your healthy, vibrant life that you're building, right? So we want to do that. So I hope this information was good for you. But if you're like, Dr. Amanda, this was great information, I need more guidance of eating out, helping with my blood pressure, helping with my blood sugar, helping to manage my weight and building a lifestyle that supports my God-given purpose, hey, I would love to walk alongside of you and do this. So you can book your session with me at www.dramandamd.com. And that's with my Atkins Enlightenment Lifestyle Medicine. You can do the lifestyle medicine appointment. You can do the coaching appointment. The coaching appointments, the coaching is more of like a 12-week program. And we can really dig deep on how to keep those lifestyle changes going, not just for those 12 weeks, but for a lifetime. And many people have actually gone through the program and like, okay, I can actually feel better and actually feel like I'm in control of my health more. Or if you're like, I just need a quick consult with my blood pressure or blood sugar. And usually when I just get, a good information, more deeper, personalized to me, then maybe that will be just your one-time lifestyle medicine appointment. Usually people just don't have one appointment. They usually like to come back. But you want to start there, that's perfectly fine, because you'll still get a lot of information that's tailored to you. Okay. So you'll feel lighter, you'll feel stronger, you'll feel more connected, and it can start you with the choices. You can start with the choices from what we talked about today. Okay. So before though we end today, I want to take a moment to help you envision what all this can mean for your life. Okay. So imagine that you walk into any restaurant, you're not feeling anxious, but you're feeling confident. You sit down, you enjoy your company, and you choose foods that support your body, your energy, and your long-term health goals. Imagine that your blood sugar stays steady, your blood pressure is constantly improving, your clothes are fitting better, and you feel more in tune with your body is signaling to you. Okay. So imagine that your social life doesn't have to compete with your health, but is actually strengthened together. Eating out with your friends and family wouldn't feel like a setback anymore. It would feel more like a connection, which we want, and joy and community without compromising your wellness. Okay. So over time, these changes can shape the life that feels more fulfilling to you physically, emotionally, spiritually, and socially. You honor the gift of your health while still enjoying the gift of people, because we need to be around people, right? All right. So blessing health to y'all, and make sure that your next meal out is a healthful one. And don't forget to share the video with someone that you know will actually be inspired by this message. All right. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.